And hello and welcome everyone once again to the CRM Dynamics Customer Insights webinar. My name is Jared Teed, Product Marketing Lead for CRM Dynamics, and thank you so much for joining us. Now, before we begin the webinar, I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping items. This webinar is being recorded and will be made available afterwards. And to ensure the sound quality is consistent, we have muted all the lines. And if you'd like to ask a question, please use the chat or question function on your control panel, and we will make sure to address them at the end of the session. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce our presenter for today, Pierre Bertrand. Pierre has many years as an ERP and CRM project manager, giving him a unique approach to sales. He's either sold it, managed it, or implemented it himself. And Pierre has built high-performing professional services teams that run large and complex IT projects. He's been a solution architect focusing on combining D365 marketing and D365 field service modules, and is an emerging Microsoft AI and machine learning enthusiast. And a few other notes here on Pierre. He is a professional engineer with an Ivy Business School MBA in finance and marketing. And Pierre is a Microsoft certified professional. So with that, Pierre, I will pass it off to you and let you get started.
Great, thanks very much, Jared. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, coming in loud and clear.
Excellent. So here's the agenda for the day. We'll start with who we are, i.e. CRM Dynamics. I'll keep this really short. Then we're going to dive right into customer insights overview. I'll cover drivers of customer insights, some of the concepts, and also the Microsoft approach. Then we'll talk about a case study with Tivoli. And Jared, my colleague, will send you later on a link to a short video, which is really nice. But from a bandwidth perspective, we've had some challenges with attendees watching a video on the webinar, so we'll send you the link separately. Then we'll talk about customer insights architecture. So we'll go through the actual customer insights screens in the context of the case study we'll just see. And then we'll wrap up. We'll talk about next steps and questions. So CRM Dynamics, we're a gold certified Microsoft partner. And really, after many years in business, over 700 projects for more than 250 clients, we were brought into the Microsoft Inner Circle in 2019, which means we are the top 1% of partners worldwide, not just in Canada, but worldwide. And we're one of the partners that makes recommendations on the direction of the Dynamics 365 product. And we also won in 2019 the Microsoft Impact Award for business applications. Implementations perspective, we are, most of our clients are in Canada, but we also have some in the US, in the Caribbean, and in Australia. So delivered on my first promise, I kept the CRMD overview nice and short. So customer insights. So why customer insights? Why now? So over the last 3 years, I've been talking about customer 360-degree views with grocery companies, gaming and casino organizations, chains of appliance stores, equipment dealers, financial service organizations. But executing on that vision has not been easy. Now, during the last 9 months, the importance of achieving this customer 360-degree view and being able to execute on it has become not just important, but also really critical. If you look at companies like Amazon that are doing it really well, they're growing at an unprecedented rate, while those who don't do it as well are really struggling right now. Here's what research tells us. So first thing is having it is driving business. So bottom line, customers are more likely to shop with brands who recognize and remember them and who provide relevant offers and recommendations. Now, on the other hand, not having it is losing you clients. You need to know when to approach a customer with what and when not to approach them. I personally routinely unsubscribe to many lists that don't provide value, that send me too many communications, or that aren't relevant to me. So out of that, what really happens now is everyone wants it. Your competitors are investing heavily in this. Everyone across the whole spectrum is wanting to deliver better customer experience. And that's driving a huge growth in this area, especially in the last 2 years, as we see that market is expected to grow to $1 billion by the end of 2020, by the end of this year. So the most common challenges, why this realizing of this vision has not been easy. So the first one is your customer data and systems are fragmented. Also, is your customer experience and personalization the same across your contact center, your websites, your email, your newsletters, etc.? Now, when we talk about privacy loss, that's been a big challenge right now. And it's now more difficult, much more difficult than 10 years ago to get consent than to be able to contact and market to individuals and companies. And really, what really is sad is when you finally have it, and if you don't provide value, it's so easy to unsubscribe and waste all that effort that you've spent to try to get people to agree to hear what you have to say. And finally, from a scale perspective, with the exponential growth in data, it's been a challenge to keep up with storage and computing power. So those have been the challenges from a customer insights perspective. Now, what Dynamics 365 Customer Insights is doing is really providing you with a platform to unify and understand your customer data and to power personalized experiences. That's going to give you two things that are really important: increase revenue and increase effectiveness of marketing dollars. Increase revenue, for example, it'll help you identify who will churn, and so you can action it. It'll help you identify who should be buying more, and then you can target them. It'll help prevent clients from leaving due to bad experiences and irrelevant content. So it'll help increase revenue. The other point I made is it's going to help increase effectiveness of your marketing dollars. So you'll be able to reduce marketing spend while getting more business. For example, there'll be fewer emails and communications, but a better response to the ones you send and to the offers you give your clients. So you'll then be able to reduce the number of campaigns that are not focused, so be able to save on the time and the money required to create all these campaigns. So customer insights, increase revenue, increase effectiveness of marketing dollars. Now let's talk about personalization to drive better customer experience. At the heart of this, of delivering on this, is data. So customers right now are generating enormous amounts of data as they engage across all your channels with multiple devices, and everything is creating data. So you've got demographic data, like who they are, their age, geography, contact details, education, income, etc. You also have behavioral data. So what do they do within your organization? What's their web browsing, physical interaction in your store, your locations, social data, product usage. Then you get into transactional data. So are they purchasing online, in store? Do they have customer service cases? If you're a financial organization, are they withdrawing or depositing money? Are they providing you feedback either directly, in person, or through surveys? Are they attending your events? Are they participating in your events? Are they redeeming your offers? Then you have what we call proprietary data, things that are even more specific to your business. Really, it's your secret sauce. So as a result, if you look at all of these different sources of data that are inundating us, most organizations are data rich, but information or insight poor. But really, if you can harness all this data, then you can get a holistic view of everything within your business and your customers, and you can empower the personalized, intelligent engagement that your customers want right now, that you need to deliver to be able to stay in business. So making a difference with customer insights. Right now, you've got multiple line of business systems. You've got customer profiles in every one of these lines of business. With customer insights, we're going to bring all this into a unique customer profile. So the mapping is done on what's called the Microsoft Common Data Model, for those who are familiar with Microsoft, which is a data model shared across CRM, customer service, and Microsoft ERPs. But it also allows you to move data to other systems, such as Salesforce, to non-Microsoft ERPs, such as SAP, and to marketing automation solutions like Marketo. Now, if you think about this unique profile will drive better AI. So with this unique profile, we'll be able to drive activities, measures, predictions, and segmentation for marketing and for offers. So we talked about AI. The potential is really, really exciting, but a lot of businesses perceive the implementation to be unrealistic. The good news, it's actually easy and it's built into customer insights. So we start with data. So the D365 approach to AI starts with the ability to source all your data from both internal and external sources through a set of about 40 out-of-the-box connectors. You can bring data from on-premise gateways, from online on-premise services, etc. So really the important thing here is it gives you the ability to fast-track the data integration process from what was usually a long and costly and error-prone effort. So customer insights allows organizations like yours to easily overcome the first hurdle of successful AI, the lack of data. Now, unification, beyond the most basic need of AI being data, you need to be able to make sense of that data. So as you ingest all these different sources of data, you'll certainly detect errors and duplication and other common issues. So customer insights unification process standardizes data and applies built-in AI to automatically match and merge. Now, I'll repeat that, automatically match and merge with AI the records into one comprehensive profile. And in addition, you can create richer profiles with predictive signals like brand affinity, interests, etc. So now that you're armed with a single source of truth, now that you've got your unified customer record, you can then leverage Microsoft Analytics, AI, and machine learning to unlock the insights and get really the better organization outcomes. Once you've got all that, you can drive actions. You can bring this information to your systems of engagement. So you can feed retail, finance, marketing, customer service, sales, field service, any system, any action, any business process or automation that you have in the business can now be driven through better information and AI tools to be able to give you that personalized customer experience. So let's talk about the key phases of customer insights, just to put everyone on the same footing so we have a common understanding. So the first thing is ingestion. So you need to start by bringing the customer and activity data from all your sources. The next piece is the mapping and matching. So we're going to identify and understand the profile data from the transactional and observational sources. So bring everything together. Then we're going to do what's called conflation. So it's bringing everything into a customer profile with source lineage so we can see where the information is coming from. Then we're going to enrich the data. So we have AI models out of the box that we can modify and customize. We can create also new AI models and some proprietary signals from Microsoft. And we'll talk about some of those in the case study that we'll be reviewing later on. After that, we'll be able to drive with the data we brought in, the mapping, bring all that into one unique customer profile, enriching it with AI models. We can then drive insights. We can then make sense out of the data and be able to derive insights and automate and optimize their processes. And eventually, drive some actions. So leverage all this data, all these insights across all your different systems, your different people to be able to drive all your new methods of engagement with your customers. It really comes down to customer insights done differently. It used to be a custom process, hard-coded, difficult to change, siloed. Now with Dynamics 365 Customer Insights, we're looking at something that's configurable, extensible. It's ready run by business users. One of the key things is time to implement. I have here measured in weeks and months. We'll talk about even being able to see results and get you started in days, not weeks or months. When we talk about customer insights done differently, here's an example of what a customer insights screen could look like. So we've got here Tivoli that we'll talk about later on. Here's one of their customer insights screens. So imagine how difficult it is to get a profile like this. So you got your churn, you've got your lifetime value, your brand affinities, your spend, Everything across all your systems is brought into one customer profile. Very, very difficult to achieve right now for most organizations. So I promised a case study. So let's talk about a customer, an organization that actually implemented this. So it's Tivoli Gardens. So it's the second oldest operating amusement park in the world. They just celebrated their 175th anniversary. But really, like most amusement parks and a lot of your organizations, they had a very small IT department. They had 2 people in their IT department. Now, typically, when you go to an amusement park, you buy a day pass, maybe buy a 2-day pass. But with Tivoli Gardens being in the center of the city, they decided to offer subscriptions to the park. The idea was people can quickly drop in, go for a couple of rides, then continue on with their day. Their challenge was once a person is a subscriber, once they've subscribed and the subscription was coming up for renewal, they had no idea who was going to renew and who was going to drop off and why. So they could not predict the revenue stream and what kind of impact that would have for them. They had several different systems that house data, and they had to figure out a way to bring all this data into a singular profile of a customer. Because unless they understand what a customer does, they're never going to understand if the customer is going to renew or not. So, as I mentioned earlier, my colleague is going to send you a link to a 2-minute video that you can watch later on after this presentation that shows all the hosts of Tivoli giving a testimonial on what they're doing with the actual application. I'm going to drive down into some details here for you. So, customer insights. I promised I was going to show some of the screens and talk about it. So, when you start, you see here for Tivoli, they saw their members, so 189,000 members. They could see that 10,000 live in Copenhagen, 800 had their birthdays, 38 were likely to churn. So this is where you start. So this is the customer insight screen where you start. Now let's drill down in a bit more detail. So Tivoli wanted to ingest data from Azure, from Salesforce, from SharePoint lists. They also had on-premise systems. And through these gateway connectors, they were able to ingest the data with a next action. So just pick them, basically go next. It brings all the data in together. So going back to the classic CRM implementation, this usually takes weeks, months, in some cases, multiple years. Tivoli did this in a matter of days. The ingesting part was super easy for them to do. The next thing was to bring in the data directly into customer insights. We've been working with CRM for years in our business. Every CRM project starts with ingesting data, but it's often expensive and requires development. So Tivoli had 9 different data sources where the customer data resided. They had GLX, for example, that showed them where a customer was specifically, physically in the park, close to what service, close to what restaurant, close to what ride. Tivoli was already using Dynamics 365, so it was really easy for them to pull in about 16 entities into the system, but they were also using Sitecore for the website. They were using Falcon.io to track social information. They had Twitter, they had Facebook posts, they had a whole bunch of different inputs in there. They also used a system called Galaxy, which registers what ride the attendee went on. And they were able to bring and ingest all this data into customer insights very, very easily. So what was the next logical step for them? The AI screen. So once you've got your data sources set up and pointed to, then you're going to the AI screen. So 3 steps: map, match, and merge. So imagine if I had 9 different data sources that capture information about me. I could be different in each of those sources. You would need to make sense of that data to generate a distinct profile of Pierre Bertrand. So the built-in AI looks at all the data sources and provides a recommendation for a primary key between information where it doesn't exist. So this is very important. It recommends for you a primary key. So if I'm listed in one system as Pierre Bertrand, Pierre H. Bertrand in another one, and P. Bertrand, there's nothing linking me together. So we need that primary key to link the tables together. So this is as simple as going to the screen. Once you've mapped it, the system is going to recommend out of the box for you what the key should be. So it's as simple as verifying that I believe the connections are correct. And of course, if you want, you can override it and change your primary key. Now comes the match and merge piece, which is really a lot of the power within the solution. So my name is Pierre Bertrand. I might have filled out my name in one system, but another one used Pierre, third one, Pierre H. Bertrand. My email address might be common. So if I create a matching rule, we're able to look across a different set of tables and say, you know what, these two things look pretty similar. And we found a matching email address, so we'll match the records together. So this last logical step thing that you could do is to merge duplicate records together to create a single profile that you need to look at. So if I go one step further, so the matching section allows you to set up the rules that describe how to handle the matching. So for example, the email is matched to the first name. You can specify what precision level you're looking at to achieve. So for example, for the email, is it a perfect match? Does it need to contain the first name or the last name, etc.? So you can specify some of the rules you want, and this will show on an ongoing basis the impact on the percentage of records matched. So you have a lot of flexibility there to fine tweak the rules and increase your matching percentage. Obviously, that depends on the number of data sources you have, but it's very easy to do right now in the system. So at this point, the data analyst is done. Once the data sources have been set up and you've got your matching set, there's no more data analysts required. Now this is, he's created basically all the different sources, the one profile you're set, but there's more work to do. So at this point, it's actionable from a business-oriented perspective. Now, let me take you back to the Tivoli story with their annual subscription challenge, because that's really where it hits his reality. So one of the first things that the business wanted to look at was customers who are members located in Denmark and who have a churn of 70%, a churn rate of 70%, churn score, sorry. So if you have a high churn score, that means you're likely to churn, you're likely to leave. And you have a low churn score, that means you're likely to remain. So how does a churn score get calculated? Well, here's where the AI comes in again. So the AI model runs over the segmented data and produces a score. So in the case of Tivoli, it was about if a customer was located in Denmark, where they visited the gardens 4 times a year, what rides did they go on, what social information did they post, etc. And 4 times a day, this model is updated. So Tivoli ran a churn model on this data, and they started to visualize it for the board of directors. So information was good, but what did marketing do with it? Well, marketing zoomed in on 2 specific segments. And this is real data from Tivoli, but we anonymized it so that we wouldn't see specific people in there. So we're going to be looking at Veronica as an example, but she represents a segment they looked at. So here's Veronica. But as I mentioned, it's really one segment they looked at. So if you have a CRM system, you'll have to admit that it's difficult to get this kind of 360-degree view of a customer unified across all your multiple systems. So look at the churn score in the middle of the panel. This is an ideal customer, an ideal segment. We have a 12% churn score, which is very low. So as marketing, if you run activities against these low churn segments, you now have a real-time feedback on the impact on churn, engagement, fulfillment, dollar spends, etc. So you run campaigns, you run offers, and you can see the impact on these low churn segments. If you see the churn starts to creep up a bit, then you see, oh, we got a problem. Let's back off on those offers. Something is happening. That gives you real-time feedback 4 to 5 times a day on the impact of what you're doing on your expected churn score. Let's look at Niels, who represents another segment. So Niels has a high churn score, 95.8%. And you can see the very low engagement. So he only went to 1 concert. So every Friday night, Tivoli Gardens has a concert. So what they did is, because of the rock concert that he attended, or the fact that the people in this segment attended a rock concert, and to the high churn score, marketing sent an automated promotion out to the mobile devices. So think of an amusement park. They have wide open areas where they have concerts. So people are just standing or sitting on the grass. There's a very low cost to have extra people attend a concert for free. So that was a promotion. They also want to attract other customers. So they said you can bring a friend for free to this concert. And while you're at it, we'll give you a free beer. So that was a promotion that they sent to the folks in this segment. Before I go to the next slide, a couple of interesting things here. You can see bottom left, it shows you all the data sources for this segment. So all your information for your segment is all here in one spot. So fast forward, we see an activity moment that Niels attended the AHA concert on the right. So attended the AHA concert, we see that here, brought a friend, and got the beer. So what does that actually mean? As I mentioned earlier, the churn score is being calculated over and over and over again 4 times per day. So it went from 95% down to about 40% due to the engagement he took with them. That's the power the insights can give you. You can unify the customer profile. It'll give you next best actions. You can predict with AI models what's going to happen, such as churn, risks of fraud, whatever you want to be doing. And it can infuse that into the business process of a sales rep, a customer service professional, or a marketing professional. That covers some of the key items that we have for our Tivoli case. Let's talk about a couple of other examples of customer insights and the value it can bring. So you've got here a greeting app, and we do those regularly across a whole bunch of different industries. So this is a greeting app that you see in a financial institution. So someone shows up, very, very easy with customer insights to take all the information across all your systems, bring it all into one spot, one screen where you can see the value in what this customer is doing with your organization. So here you see the first activities, all the transactions, the phone calls coming in through the call center. You see the account balance, you see the number of transactions, and you also see recommendations. So it can drive smart recommendations for the person greeting this customer coming in. So huge value for this. If you think about a bank or financial institutions, you typically have information about the person's RSPs, the person's savings, checking accounts, credit card, mortgages, the times they call in, their online transactions. All of this information is very, very different systems. Customer Insights allows you to easily build a greeting app like this that shows you all the information in one spot and tells you the value of the customer, of the person you've got in front of you from a business perspective. Let's talk about another example. So this is a greeting app for retail. So same concept here. So how many purchases that person done over the POS? You can see online purchases. If you have a reward system, you can see the rewards. You can see whether it's a high value customer. You can see recommendations, all the activities. Everything is in one spot. So again, someone shows up at a cash register with items in their hands. You can easily get a view of this customer's value. Same thing if someone is walking around, you have salespeople in the store, you ask for the person's name, and then you can get instantaneously what they've bought, what they're interested in. You can help drive some decisions and show them some products in the stores. So what does this mean? So next steps, and as you see, we have a lot of time for questions afterwards, so it's good. So very easy. If you want to unify your customer data with all the pre-built connectors, you want to tailor interactions with your automated processes and your customer-centric experiences, and you want to maintain control of your customer data and increase conversion, we can get you started in 2 days. So for those who are interested, we have a quick start program where we'll spend 2 days with your team. We'll bring in some of your data, and we'll create an environment for you, and we'll start showing you how we can start driving insights from your data. Obviously, we're not going to map 15 data sources, but we'll get you started with an environment, get a couple of sources of data, and show you what kind of insights you can get out of this in a matter of 2 days. So that's what I have. So if you want the hands-on experience, give us a call. reach out to us and we'll get you started. Now, Jared, can you let's open up for questions. Do you have questions that have been submitted by our attendees?
Yeah, Pierre, there was a question here. You kind of already answered it, but it was, how long does this take to get deployed or up and running and getting everything going?
Yep, it's a good question. So to get you started, to get you not fully deployed, but get you to start seeing insights and to start to understand how this can impact your business, you need about 2 days to get you started. And then obviously, as you get a feel for it, you want to connect more data sources. You want to drive connections with your systems to be able to drive all the actions and use the insights. Then obviously, you're probably looking at a couple of weeks of work to get you started.
Mm.
But to start getting some data in there, start seeing first insights, 2 days.
I have another question just popped in here, Pierre. Is there a module or insight to determine cash flow and next best product?
So there is, we can build in with the AI capability cash flow forecast, and yes, we can add to that next best product through the AI integration. Yes.
Okay, great. I'm not seeing any other questions here. Just a reminder to everyone, this recording will be made available afterwards. You'll get an email with a link, as well as a link to the Tivoli case study video, as Pierre mentioned. Anything else you want to add, Pierre, before we sign off?
No, it's all good. I just want to thank everyone for attending. You're getting back 25 minutes of your day, so have a good lunch, enjoy your day, and thanks for attending.
Great. Thanks, everyone, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye now.